Hello, everybody, and welcome to Akuban Nights. How you doing today, NECA? Sami.
Hello.
Damn.
Sami, NECA, Dan, other names that people can call me.
God damn it, get over here. Hey, you.
Yeah, I answer to that one sometimes.
Yeah, don't we all? Oh, it's been a while, though. It's been a while. So, today's session is going to tell us what happened with and to Sami in the 2 weeks to change that the rest of his family was gone on their adventure to gain some trust and make some friends. Meanwhile, Sami's left alone back in Yatel. This little place marked on the map.
I'm not like out on the streets or anything. I'm
yeah, I mean,
a safe place.
Yeah. No one's kicked you out of the house. You're fine. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk Yatel and Sami. Now you have, let's do a little quiz here. Who is it that is offering you safety and protection while you are in Yatel?
It is the magic governing family of you know, why does the hard question have to be the first one? The Shazar. It's not the Shazarun family.
No.
Hey, it's the Shazar family.
Yes.
Very similar. Too similar.
You know, they are. They are.
Very complicated. Thank you, Faye.
What? I told you. Don't give her credit.
Also told us.
What? All right. Okay. I see how this game goes.
We were led to. We were directed to Yatel by one of the members of the family.
Yes. Yes. And what have you been up to prior to the start of this session here in Yatel?
Prior to the start of this session.
Yeah. In Yatel with these folks, what have you been up to?
Ooh, like after we discovered them in the library.
Yeah, you guys got to Yatel and you spent a little less than a week here, before everyone raced off to do their shit.
Is this stuff that I should know about that was happening 2 weeks ago, or is this stuff that was happening?
I'm just sort of like
week
recapping gently about what happened 2 weeks ago.
Okay, so we found these guys and we're like, yo, this is a safe place. We could stay. We don't have to like show our faces in this tavern and eat all garbage. And we spent quite a little bit talking to each other, honestly, and coming up with ideas on how to progress our situations in Yatel, how to progress our situations in Akuba, how to start reaching out to some of the families.
So you've been working with them, and getting to know them a little bit better.
Yeah, we've been working with the Shazar family, and we went out and tried to open doorways, like, and just get our foot out there in secretive measures.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the map real quick, because I want to have a little bit of a working understanding of this place that you're staying. So let's look a little bit above Yatel into the ocean, because I'm going to doodle in the ocean for us.
We are in the ocean.
Doodle on this map with this pen. All right, cool. So there is this road. I'm just going to do a quick road doodle here.
There we go.
Yeah, something like this. Right, and on one side of the road is the library. And on the other side of the road is their setback from the road a little bit, the Shazar family estate. Ooh, God, this estate is funky looking, but it suffices for our needs. And the estate is further bordered by a wall that kind of comes all the way up to the road, like a noble estate might be in a town or village. You know, don't want those dirty looking peasants to come over here and take a look or anything. And this estate with its little door has been blocked and guarded. Supposedly no one is living in here. When Yatel was under siege and taken over. All the noble families that weren't in charge of the city were kicked out. And the Shazar family, well, they have magic, so they just hid themselves, and they have a fairly complicated underground network, like literally underground network of tunnels between the library and the estate and some other underground areas that are easy enough to seal off and hide that no one found them. So they've been living literally underground in this town that they were supposed to leave. And they can't really leave this town because there's this library here, and it's super important. It's so important, in fact, that the family members that are librarians were allowed to stay in town as long as, you know, those few people stayed in the library, and you only needed 2 or 3 of them to run it, but it's an important institution, so let's leave it here. And so you guys have found your way to the library, found your way to the Shazar family, and there's no wall around this, and they have given you aid and comfort and a place to rest. But with this situation, you are sort of cut off from the town in that you're living under the streets in these little chambers here and there, and no one in the town knows that you're here, knows that Sami Harazim is here. So
Yep.
that is the groundwork that the rest of our session today will be predicated upon. All right, let's go back to what we're doing. So your family rides out, and you've got some time, at least 2 weeks, to read everything in here, learn new spells, maybe create a spell of your own, explore the secrets of the world, and figure out anything that you might think could help your family on their sort of vague and nebulous quest to ruling the world, their kingdom, and saving the world. Right?
Pretty much. Sounds about right.
Cool. Good. So first things first, spells. Are there any spells that Sami would like to learn?
There are quite a few spells, yes, but we're going to limit it in number for now.
Okay.
Starting off with the ones he regards as important. Since...
And which ones are those?
Okay. So right now he has... I just want to open up the Sami wiki page. There we go. Just to get my failed spell list. There was the Conjure Simple Object spell, which is conjuration.
Fantastic.
There was...
that will take you 2 days to learn, if you so desire. And
Yes.
it is available for you to learn here. Why don't you roll me a D100, and we'll see if you can learn it. What is your percent chance to learn your conjuration spell?
Default percent chance to learn, I believe, is 65.
And
65.
so
And
you get
so I
what?
get an 80% chance on conjuration spells.
You only get plus 15 to your own
That's what you told me.
specialty. That's
And
not,
I get a
can-
minus 15 to not learn it for other schools. So it's a 80 and a 50.
You are probably correct here.
We can double check.
Yeah, it's plus 15 minus 15. For some reason, you know what it is? It's elementalists get plus 25 and minus 15. Everyone else is plus 15 minus 15. And they always confuse me. Fucking elementalists.
Those are the weird ones, because they're like everything.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
They're very confusing.
All right. So give us that 80% chance. 80 or lower on a D100. Beautiful.
Is a 21.
So the first 2 days are spent learning summon or conjure simple
Conjure
objects.
simple object. Which allows me to... Now, I would like a clarification on the spell. Because it lists that I need... For the materials, I need the powder or dust of the material I want to conjure the object out of. Do I need a small amount of powder, or do I need a... do I need literally the weight requirement in powder form?
No, you'll need a... Like, we'll call it 1 coin's worth, 1/50th of a pound worth. So if you want it out of silver, then you like have 1 silver coin of silver dust and you sprinkle it around and poof. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. And that can be essentially any single material.
Yeah. At some point, I might say it's like 1 coin per pound of object, because I'm thinking scaling mechanisms. When you're like creating 10-pound objects, maybe we want 10 coins. I don't know.
Well,
we'll see.
it's 1 pound per level, so you know.
Yeah. So we're still talking like not a lot. Not a lot. And this spell allows you to do what?
Spell allows me to conjure a single object of simple construction for for a small period of time.
And you can sort of conjure anything, right? You could like...
I could essentially conjure anything as long as it is within the weight limits and it is simple construction.
Yeah, no moving parts, no energy storage mechanism. So like a ladder, a hammer, a bowl, a dagger, a plank, a crowbar, all totally great. But like a bow or a lantern or a magnifying glass or a rope or a chain or like a hinged box, those are all too complicated.
Just like any simple utility object, basically.
Yeah, like a solid
so you don't
thing.
Have to, yeah, a solid object. So you don't have to keep carrying everything around with you. You can just be like, oh, I need this right now.
Let me just crowbar. So, boop. Yep. It's a fantastic utility spell, kind of solving your need to carry all sorts of little things.
Yes.
Yes.
Sami is not a strong man.
That actually might be the most broken spell in the game, now that I'm thinking about it.
I've not thought of any way of breaking the game with it yet, so
it's just so like you don't have to carry shit with you anymore. Like, you know, you don't need hammers, you don't need pittons, you don't need ladders, you don't need axes, you don't need crowbars.
Use all of those spell components, all those mana points to make them though, and they only last 3 rounds per level. So at this point, 12 rounds, which is 12 minutes. Right? Is a round 1 minute or 10 minutes?
1 minute. A turn is 10 minutes. I know it's confusing. I'm still confused by it after 20 years, so... Welcome to my hell.
Yeah, so 12 minutes. It's not too broken.
So broken.
It's a single up. It's not like I'm gonna create like 100 pittons, climb a mountain, and then whatever.
Sami hammers in 1 pitton, climbs up a little bit more, conjures the next pitton, climbs up a little bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward here.
So another...
Yeah, so that's the first 2 days here.
Yeah, did anyone come to speak to me in these 2 days?
I would like a perception check from you.
Things are happening around me. I am not aware of anything.
You know what? You spend these 2 days in seclusion. You're tucked in this little room. You found this book that's got this spell. There's a whole bunch of musings on it as well, and you're just like scribbling and jotting down notes, and you are oblivious to everything happening in and around you.
That is fair. Very fair.
Where is this? Oh, maybe I already put it in the 2-point Neal document. There is, like, as it's some flavor text for wizards in general. I added a little section regarding spell books, and we didn't start the campaign with this, so if this seems burdensome or annoying to you, we don't have to apply it in this campaign.
Right.
But if you go to the 2-point N document and go down to chapter 7, there's a subsection spellbook. And in it, we sort of define what a wizard's spellbook is. It is an ever-growing collection of notes about the nature of magic and the caster's personal insights and discoveries. All mages start play with a simple spell book and are assumed to be adding to it along their journey, filling it up after roughly 1 level. A particularly fast or slow-paced campaign may wish to bend the 1 level per spellbook rule. Each new level requires a new spellbook, which can begin to get burdensome rather quickly for the wizard on the go, because when you're 5th level, you don't want to be carrying around 5 books with you. That's a shit ton of weight, and it's heavy, and it's awkward to carry, yada yada yada. So those that wish to devote the time and resources may create like a traveling spellbook. This traveling book is a condensed version of all of your other spellbooks put in like a Sparks note format with just little shorthand annotations and like little charts and graphs and grids that condense the knowledge in a way that, you know, isn't really decipherable to anybody other than you. It is assumed that as a wizard advances, he or she becomes better at condensing information, so your traveling spellbook should always be about one book in size. Because when you're 10th level, the notes that you need for 1st level, you barely need anymore. You just need like some weird hieroglyphic gibberish to make sense of it all. So your information always gets more compact. If a wizard does not have access to their spellbook, either the traveling version of past levels and the book for their current level, or all of their books, or, you know, whatever, then they can't gain new spells or gain MP from studying, because you don't have access to your books. Yeah, and then there's a whole section on replacing your lost spellbooks. So, because up until now, this wizard spellbook has been this weird thing where each spell takes a number of pages, and you have to copy it. And it's not just like learning a spell by reading something; it's like jotting it down. And I think this is a better way of making sense of all of that, because then you have to study. Like, if you get a spell, you can study it and make your notes, and everyone learns spells in different ways. And that's the broader vision in my head of what a spellbook ought to be. It's your accumulated notes and histories, and not just like, you know, spell instruct. It's not like a cookbook, right, with just recipe after recipe. It's a journal. All right. Anyway, I needed to talk about that. So the first 2 days you spend learning Conjure Simple Object. You're more or less left alone by the Shazaran family here, and we can go on to day 3 and change. What do you want to do on day 3?
So on day 3, after being cooped up in my room for a little bit, I want to do some. I would like to do a little bit of an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to try my hand at the magic circle spell and see what limitations I can put them to.
Ooh. Magic circle, huh?
So the magic circle is essentially a pre-prepared circle made of lead, chalk, silver. It's basically literally like a circle of arcane symbols.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the spell itself is to activate or deactivate such a thing.
Right.
And upon activated, no one can pass in or out without challenging the spellcaster's willpower.
Right.
So what I want to do with it is I want to attempt to block a doorway so that I literally inscribe the circle to block it. So either like the center of the circle is the middle of the doorway, or an arc of that circle is one side of the doorway.
Okay. So creating the circle is going to be a bit of a time-consuming cost. I know it's not. Let's see. The spell takes 1 minute to cast. The circle doesn't have a definite casting time in here, but we said it's like
it doesn't have a casting time. It has.
Oh, here we go. Each foot of the circle takes 2 minutes to create.
Yeah.
Each foot of diameter, right? So a door has what, a diameter of 3.5 feet or something like that.
I
think so. So it would take 7 minutes to create the circle on the floor, and then 1 minute to cast the spell. If you have all the powdered things, which you can just exchange money here with the Shazarian family. They can go out and get whatever supplies. They've got like a small little library of things. Or you can conjure it yourself, yeah. But it needs powdered silver or lead. Do you have the...
I have the minor disintegration spell.
Oh, perfect.
So I can powder form things.
Okay, great. So you, on your own, you can create all of this shit then.
Yes. And so first of all, I don't want to like impede other people or like do whatever. So whatever like room I'm staying in, I want to set this up around it, and then possibly invite one of the Shazar members to come and like just spend 10 minutes and experiment. So I can see if it works, like so that I can like have it barring a doorway, or if I need to have it like what restrictions I can have. So if I can have if it can go through a wall, for example.
Right. So the first thing you get, let's try these one at a time. So your first casting, you try and put it like through a wall. So you do a circle on one side and then the rest of the circle on the other side? Or how would you... Yeah?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work. No way in hell. The circle needs to be
fully defined circle on a plane.
Absolutely.
And I want to... Next, I will shrink the circle down so that it fits within the boundaries of the door. Doorway... Well, the doorway. The door obviously doesn't touch the ground completely, so the markings can be etched into the ground on its own.
Right. So it's a small, you know, yay big circle, just big enough to fit in a doorway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that seems to work. It goes off and creates an awkward magic circle in the middle of the doorway that you can't push through and someone else can't push through, and you've effectively blocked a doorway with 8 minutes of casting.
Yeah. Good.
And it lasts until when?
It lasts until disrupted. So until someone pushes themselves through it, or until dispelled at touch.
Okay.
But there's also a note here where there's a permanent version. So I think if it's which makes the circle itself indisturbable.
Right, because right now it's made with powdered chalk, silver, and lead.
Yeah.
So even if the circle is solid, someone on the outside could disrupt the circle or like blow on it. A breeze could mess the circle and break it.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be trusted for periods, when it's outside of the caster's view, or for long periods of time.
Yeah.
It's possible things will get messed up. Yeah. But it'll work as a small circle in a doorway to block it. Totally.
Next, I want to see like how high this barrier will like go. If it's all the way up to the top.
Dude, as high as I was gonna make
because if it's gonna be outside, how high is that gonna be?
How are you gonna test that?
Or if it's a dome. Well, first I'm gonna do it indoors, see if it's like all the way to the top.
Yeah, it'll reach the top of your 10-foot ceiling.
Next, I could try it outside and throw some rocks as high as I could. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So, how are you gonna do this? How are you gonna create magic outside in a place where you can test it that still has like a nice, solid, flat floor, where no one's gonna disrupt you and the wind isn't gonna blow your dust away?
I need 10 minutes. I will. It's not like it's not just dust. It's like it's like if I could paint it onto stone, for example.
Are you going to do that within the city limits, or are you going to leave the town? first off?
Well, I was originally thinking of doing it outside, just outside the manor that's guarded with a wall. Assuming that the wall, like, nobody's like looking into the wall, and the wall is high enough to stop observers from looking in.
Right. Well, the gate that enters in is it's bars, but the gaps between the bars are
so
empty.
What about behind the manor itself?
So like back here.
Yeah, there'd be like a back patio or something.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a back patio over here. You could definitely put it back here. That's fine. There's an entryway from this from the underground area into the house, and then you can exit the house through the back door quietly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You will get a warning as you approach the exit into the house that if you get caught back here, the jig is up, and everyone's gonna get caught and fucked. So be super careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Super careful time.
Super careful. Yeah. Okay. So you head on back out. You make your circle. You cast your spell.
I do it stealthily, so I open the door, I listen out, it's like, make sure there's no, like, people playing literally just outside the wall. Make sure people can't hear me, blah, blah, blah. Make the circle, cast the spell.
Yeah. And do you do this during the day or during the night?
I think during the day.
Okay. That'll make it more likely that someone's nearby, but less likely any noise you make gets noticed because there's shit going on. Okay.
That's the plan.
Give me a moment here. Just have to jot some things down.
Sami makes noise on this day.
Okay, excellent. So you create the spell. You can't really see how high it goes because there's not much of a visual to it. It's more of like an invisible force field. And then you're gonna throw rocks at it. So give me, how high up would you like to throw your rock?
High as possible.
Well, the range of a rock is 10, 20, 30 yards. So you can throw it 30 feet with no attack penalty, at 60 feet at -2, and 90 feet at -5. And I'm making an attack roll to hit this narrow column.
3 rocks at each stage. Well, 1 rock at each stage.
All right, so give me the 30-foot rock. Just a regular attack roll, AC 10. Easy peasy. Did you roll an 8?
I rolled an 8.
You
Do
miss.
I have any bonuses to my missile? No, I do not.
Nope, you hurl your rock, and it just...
I'm just like, well, surely it should be there. So I'm going to try another rock. What?
At the same height?
7. It's the same height.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah. This is the real problem as a mage. You need someone to throw rocks for you.
Now, what could I do instead?
Maybe try throwing birds.
No, they're throwing rocks at birds. I'm going to try a third rock.
There you go. It definitely hits the point 30 feet up. Yeah, that's definitely still there.
And I'm going to wait a little bit, see if I hear someone's like, what the fuck is that rock going over there?
Nope.
No one seems to be paying attention.
No one seems to have noticed it.
And then I will make a attempt at the 60 foot. 20 yards.
And that just sails right through where you're certain it ought to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's obviously a height limit, possibly. So how wide did I make this? Like 5 foot diameter kind of thing?
I think you made it 5 foot diameter. Yeah.
That sounds reasonable. So I'm thinking like maybe there's a between 5 and 10 times width to height limit. So I erase all the evidence. I come back inside, sneaky deaky, and I want to try one more experiment.
Yes, let's hear it.
And I want to try putting it on a wall.
Ooh. On a vertical surface instead of a horizontal one.
With a magic circle going at a...
So this one's gonna be a little bit more difficult because you're gonna, right now you just have this powdered stuff. You're gonna need to find a way to make the powder stick horizontally. The chalk, not a problem. You can just draw with chalk, but powdered silver, powdered lead, how are you gonna make that stick on a horizontal surface?
Let's see, will water help? Is there some sort of glue I can use? What would I could, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to get some paint, essentially. And I'm gonna mix lead in with one paint and silver in the other one. And use that to construct like here's where the lead powder is in paint.
And I presume you get like something to paint on? You're not just gonna paint on the walls of your guest room? You know, you didn't put down a deposit on this, but it would still be kind of a dick move to paint over people's walls while you're a guest in their house.
Would I be able to erase the paint?
No, it's paint.
Is there a equivalent to like invisible ink? Or no, I could mix it in with ink, right?
Yeah, but again, still, you're now drawing on someone's walls. Like, yeah.
Well, it's worked on a horizontal surface. Okay. I after that, I've come up with a couple more ideas, but we'll see how it works out. I guess I'm going to get a painting canvas and literally paint a circle.
Get some canvas. Okay, that'll do.
And I'm gonna prop it up onto the wall. And cast the magic circle. Place my hand up against it and try it out.
Can it go horizontally?
Or maybe first of all, I'll try it horizontal going up, having horizontal it lie down, as in like having the canvas lay flat on the floor.
Oh, okay. So you start with
the canvas works. So right. I have a precedence of it works on this.
Right. Yeah. So it does work on canvas when the canvas is flat on the ground.
Now here's the risky thing. I'm going to start lifting the canvas
while the magic circle
is in place.
Okay.
Here's some experiments, you know.
Give me a willpower check.
All right. 36.
36. I don't see anything rolled. It's roll 20 being slow, or is Sami lying to us?
I rolled a 20.
Oh, wow, you did roll a 20. Okay. And can I get a dexterity check in tandem, please?
It's 20.
Okay. So you're moving this thing, and as you're shifting it, you've inked on it nice and well. There is a moment in which your moving it is not quite so smooth and gentle. You know, the tilting, and it tilts a little bit too fast, and the circle sort of like blinks like a faulty light, and there is a hiss and a sizzle and the smell of like copper in the air, and the magic circle fails.
So yeah, the magic circle emits some light and
it fizzles.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll try it. I know at least it works on a moving object at a slow rate, which is a very odd thing. I don't think I'll ever be able to put this to use, but it's nice to know it happened. Now to put it horizontally, and to just cast it as normal.
Vertically?
Yep. Canvas vertically, magic circle horizontally.
Okay. It does not work. No. You cast it, and it begins to arrive, and then it just fades. Oh my, there's a bug on my box that is doing the weirdest thing. I think it's flipped over onto its back, and it's just like doing weird rocky moments. What is that? I'm gonna get rid of this bug, okay? It's a very large bug. Should not be in this room.
We're gonna take a small break while Neal deals with the bug in the room.
Come here, you beetle. We're gonna take you outside, my friend. How'd you get on your back anyway? You're just by yourself. There's no one here to flip you over. Oh, you bastard.
Can Yassi or Jane throw rocks? Maybe. I didn't want to stay outside longer than a few minutes. Didn't necessary. Once you introduce three-dimensional cast, world goes crazy. It does. It does. The circle doesn't work on vertical surfaces.
All right.
Seemingly not.
We solved the beetle crisis of 2019. All right, where were we?
We had a fail on vertical surface.
Right. Does not work vertically.
Now, I want to just inspect the circle, make sure I didn't just break it by accident.
This circle seems to be intact.
Yeah. There is one last thing I want to do. Well, it's a couple last things. How small can I make these circles?
I think the minimum diameter is about 1 foot. Yeah. Because there have to be special markings and etchings, and as it gets smaller and smaller, it gets harder and harder to fit them in.
I would like, on this canvas, to place multiple in a line.
In a line, like do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then cast multiple magic circles.
And cast multiple magic circles.
Okay, and for the record, how much MP do you have for the day, so we know how many days this takes?
30 something. 34? So
okay.
We have done...
And these are 5 MP each, right?
Yes. So we've done one with a guy. We had one outside.
Right, so there was the one in the doorway, there was the one outside.
Well, there was 2 in the doorway, technically.
2 in the doorway.
2 in the doorway,
one outside.
One on canvas.
One on canvas, and then you moved the canvas, and then you tried to cast it on the vertical canvas, and it didn't work.
So
and you tried to do it through the wall. Well, I was saying through the wall, and on the vertical canvas, the spell, it fizzles. Yeah, I guess you did cast it, and it just failed. So that's 5?
5.
So you've used up 25 MP out of your 30-something?
Out of my 34, so I have one more.
One more casting for the day. Okay.
So I'll cast it and I'll leave it there. I'll see if it's there in the morning after I've slept.
Ah, okay. So you create a magic circle and go to sleep.
Well, I spend the night like going through my notes, figuring out some things.
So you're in an underground room. The conditions in here are very still. There's no wind. There's nothing coming around to disturb it. There's no people.
It is made out of ink.
Mm-hmm. And it's a solid circle on canvas. Okay. Yeah. It's still there in the morning.
Cool.
And roll me your MP.
My MP regens. So what would my MP regen be today?
Today is considered a day of study. So you have quality sleep and studying, so you get advantage dice on your MP.
For the night. Wouldn't I get 2?
Yeah, you get both of your dice at advantage.
Yeah,
your day and night.
Two rolls at advantage. Okay.
Yeah.
2d willpower. 10 and 9. So plus 19. I have 23 MP.
Great. So you can cast it 4 more times.
4 more times if I wanted to.
So on this cloth, you could go boop, 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 and get 4 of them going if you wanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 5 total.
Right. Are you going to do so?
I'll do 3 more, so I still have a spell.
Okay. You cast 3 more magic circles. And describe how you've done these circles on this canvas. You said they're each about a foot wide?
So they're each about a foot wide. I want to put them so that they're as close together as possible. So the etchings of the magic circle themselves are the outside of the circle. So there is a little bit of a gap between each, like, column of protection.
Right, they're not adjacent. They're not touching. Got it.
They can't be touching because the runes themselves are on the outside.
Right. Okay, so you have your circles, and it seems that all of them will function and hold together.
Great. That's Sami's experiments.
Okay.
And he just leaves that little canvas in the corner of the room.
All right.
If it ever dissipates throughout his stay here.
Excellent. So today is the 15th of June. You've got just a little MP left. What do you want to do today?
Let's see. Is this one of the spells that I have?
Actually, you know what? This is a perfect time to go to our first break because we finished up our first set of tests and learning things. Why don't we break here, and when we come back from the break, we'll dig into the next set of things.
Which
I'm going to leave ambiguous until we return. So see you on the other side of our break. Bye-bye.